Well, hello, welcome back. This is episode 7. We're gonna do take number 2. You're able to leave your whole corporate thing, join this, do something that fulfills you. What's some advice you would give to somebody that is on the edge? So they've decided they want to leave, but they're scared to leave. They want to go jump in, do that fulfilling thing because it's scary,
very,
right?
Yeah.
It's very scary. You leave a stable job to do something where it's unstable, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's like a big tunnel of unknown. So what's some advice you'd give someone?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd say is really find out what your skills are. One question I asked myself was, what are people always asking me to do? Outside of work, what are my friends and family asking me to do? How am I showing up as a added value to my community immediately? That's kind of where I got into health and wellness as well, because that's what people were asking me for. They were asking me for advice in that area, right? And so it felt quite natural to segue into that for me.
Yeah.
But I'd say sit down and make a plan, right? Especially if you're holding a corporate job down, but you're man, I'm tired of this. And I can't see myself doing this for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, are you running a race that you want to win? If you don't want to win that race, if you look to your supervisor or whatever the next step is inside of your company and it isn't alluring to you, their lifestyle, outside of just profit, the way that, the way they're showing up in the world, it matters who you become in the journey, not just what you're doing, right? Yeah. So I'd get really clear on what that path would look like for yourself. Write down what are your skills and all those things, but then find out where you want to go inside of it. Because I didn't just, luckily for me, that same process, I was able to set enough money aside to have more faith inside of my leap.
Okay.
Right? So I was able to save over half of my salary.
Okay.
So I knew I had a year and some change to really figure out if I wanted to do this full time, if I wanted to try other things on. But luckily for me, putting my all into this, it took off.
So it wasn't a one night thing. You just woke up one day in the morning and you were because a lot of people say that they just changed their mind one day. They just walked in, put their 2-week notice, and then it was all uphill from there.
So I do believe people do that. I say that I'm pretty calculated. I'm pretty calculated. Now, there was the tug of war, like you were talking about being nervous.
Yeah.
And that's when my faith had to kick in, right?
Yeah.
I saved the money.
Yeah.
That wasn't the issue. I knew what I was good at, right? I had the plan, but I still was uncertain. I was still man, what would this mean to my family? Right? I'm making the most out of my immediate family. And I'm young, and I've taken on other responsibilities. So what does this mean? It doesn't matter how much I'm planning if I don't have the faith to carry me to the next step.
True.
And that's why I really dove into the word for me. I really started to listen to sermons, and I had one-on-one Bible study with people that I trusted with my story. And from that, I had the instant you're talking about. I had that one instant. I was in the shower, and I'm just trying to. That's a piece of meditation for me, right? I'm in the shower, just washing, trying to figure out what am I gonna do with my life, what's happening. And I heard very clearly your last blessing wasn't your last blessing.
Yeah.
And I kind of laughed a little bit, man, that's crazy. I really am sitting here nervous, I won't be blessed again.
Yeah.
And I know that I've prepared, right? And so I've shown God, here's the steps that I'm gonna take, and here's where I'm allowing you to order them, be in my life, right? And all I needed to do then was have this faith to leap. And I believe that leap isn't just a one-time thing. You're gonna have to leap again and again and again. So that's kind of how it happened. It did happen in an instant, but the type of person I had to set it up where I'm all right, you can do this. You can do this if you want, right? And so what do you really want? Do you want to stay in a cycle that you're not happy with, or do you want to go for it? And I was young, really young, so I went for it.
Actually, that's a good segue into then my next question is, excuse me, what part did faith play in your life? How did you get strong in your faith?
Ooh.
What's advice you would give to people that are in that tumultuous state where should I go back to my faith?
Yeah.
Should I not? Should I just walk away because I haven't seen results? How would you call people back, and how is being closer to God or reaching and chasing God first, putting God, like you said, it's your priority? How has that changed you as a human being?
Man, in so many ways. First of all, it's a great question. There's a lot of pieces to it that I connect with. But the first thing I say is, if you're praying and you're not seeing results, do you eat the fruit the same day that you plant the seed?
That's good.
It takes you a while, right? And so, that's the first thing I say. And then the next is it isn't ever our timing.
Yeah, it's God's time.
It's God's time. And so you may want this to happen right now, but there's a part of it that could crush you if you got it today.
Yeah.
If you got your blessing today in the magnitude in which you're wanting, it could crush you right now. And so God is making us through these different experiences so that we can hope for what is coming.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned along the way. But what I would tell people is, get in a quiet place. Yeah. Get in a quiet place, get to yourself, and really, you'll need to want it for yourself. Like, that's where I started. I was like, God, I need you. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Decisions I've been making have not led me where I thought they were gonna lead me, and just be quite honest. Like, God, I don't got it right now, and I really need something to believe in that's bigger than me. Because if I lean into my own understanding, what's the point?
Yeah. So how do you let God lead your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. Couple of ways. So it's like brushing my teeth or taking a shower.
I like that.
It has to be. Like, every day I do personal development, or I have an aspect of I have like the Bible app as well. And so my personal development may be leadership, it may be spiritual, whatever I need at the time. A person I listen to every day is John C. Maxwell and Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
John C. Maxwell was a pastor, and now he's a leadership development guru. And so he talks about how those two things come together. He talks about Jesus being the best leader ever, like known to man, right? Like, transformational leader. And for me, that's like the path that I want to walk. And so I submit to the fact that I know I don't know it all. I know I don't know it all.
Yeah.
And so I go in search of information. And that's how I'm able to allow God to lead my life. And for me, that looks like conversations like this. For me, that looks like knowing that God will use the people around you to get through to you.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I say yes to unknown things. I lean into the life experiences that are presented to me, because you just never know where they'll lead you.
Yeah.
And truly, what helps me lean into letting God run my life is I try to do it. I tried to do it on my own. I really did. I tried to make the plan and stick to it, and it got me down a path for sure. But when I got there, I was very unhappy. Very unhappy. And it was because I tried to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And so I no longer want to devote 7 years to an advanced degree and then say yes to a position that doesn't work for me, and then say yes to that for 3 more years and all that. Now it's 10 years in that if I just allow God to really to order my steps, I might have had a different outcome, but I needed it all. So I'm grateful that I learned a lesson now, and that I'll be able to do that moving forward.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's segue into our second random question.
Okay.
So picking back up, what's your favorite flavor of protein, either in water or milk? And what's one flavor of protein that doesn't exist but you wish existed, or you would make?
Dang, that's crazy. Favorite, hands down, pumpkin spice.
Ooh.
I'm a pumpkin spice girl. Okay, I'm like the girl that's like the seasonal Starbucks pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice everywhere. So pumpkin spice is my favorite protein. Herbalife, of course.
Yeah.
And if I could make one, so we have a cookies and cream.
Okay.
But I think I would make a s'mores.
Ooh.
Like, Herbalife doesn't have s'mores right now.
Okay.
I know there's s'mores in the world, but
we
don't. I haven't had s'mores from Herbalife just yet. So I think I would make a s'more. So it tastes like that marshmallow and like the graham cracker. And then if I made it in a club like this, I would probably put graham cracker at the bottom and do a little caramel drizzle. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be for me. So yeah. What about you?
I don't think of this. I know. I would call it unicorn fart.
Okay. Would it be glittery?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
It would be bananas with jelly.
Interesting.
That would be the flavor, and I call it unicorn fart.
Jelly.
But yeah, but no peanut butter, just jelly and banana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fired. Can't wait to try a unicorn fart. It has to have some glitter or something.
Yeah, with
make
food grade glitter. Yeah.
Appealing to the eye. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you like pink and purple. I don't know why.
Pink and purple unicorn fart. I'm here for it. Protein. Cheers to that.
It would just look good in shaker, I guess. All right. So now my next question is, so you're prominent on social media. You're active. You've been active. Your main path of reaching out to people is through your social media. And you didn't start off with the number of followers, the support you have right now.
Right.
You started off somewhere small. What's some advice you would give to people that are trying to start off on social media? They're still in, like we talked about, that 2 likes.
Yeah.
a couple of hundred views.
Yeah.
They're still struggling through that. Some people give up in that because they think that nothing's going to happen, and some people stick with it and still don't see any results. What's some advice you'd give someone like that in that stage?
Great question. So I started out, I had 2,000 followers. That was like my family, friends, right? Like the standard people I met through college, stuff like that. And that was before I was making content like I am now. Like I might have been posting maybe once a month, maybe. And it wasn't because I didn't have much to say, but I had this like really, I was very judgmental of myself. So I would put out like only Met Gala worth, like super fancy stuff. It wasn't like everyday lifestyle, right? And so there was this illusion that I had it all together. And this is when I was going through like suicidal ideations and my depressive state and like really struggling at work. So that was like I wasn't even showing up authentically in that space. And so my first piece of advice is like, on your way, show up authentically. Show up however you really are. And the world's gonna judge you. Let them do that. It's not your job, right? Let them be the judge of the things, and you just put out what feels good to you, and don't do it for the likes. Don't do it for the claps, because when you put your future in their hands only, you'll miss the fact that God gave you a vision and a purpose, and that's what your job is, not appeasing others. When you do that, what I found along the way is that the right people found me. Like that's how the followers started to organically grow, because I was putting out more about who I really am. I made a big announcement and was like, all right, y'all, I know y'all used to me being this way, but I just did a photo shoot. I'm about to go into the business aspect of it. And so a lot of people unfollowed me, for sure. People who are like, I didn't come here for that, but there are people who are looking for that energy. And so being true to who I was becoming, I found more people that were looking for that kind of content, right? And so what I found is, put it out there. My second piece of advice is put it out there no matter what, even if it's not like a big deal right then. Some of my posts that have hit millions of views are just me running up the street with like some motivational music on it. It's not like, don't overthink it, right? And then inside of that, consistency is king. Imagine going, what's your favorite TV show right now? Are you in college? You're not watching shows?
I mean, my favorite one by far recently has been Suits. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Nice. I've heard of Suits.
It's the one with the lawyers.
Imagine Suits came on like how shows came on back in the day, when he had to wait every week for it. Let's just say that's how it came on. And you got home on a Wednesday afternoon, you thought it was gonna come on, and then it doesn't show up. That can kind of ruin your whole Wednesday. Like, dang, I was looking forward to this all day. And that's how people watch our stories. That's how people watch our social media. They may be looking forward to that uplifting piece of advice, or you just showing up smiling because they haven't gotten that energy anywhere all day. And so consistency is king, because when people start to build a connection with you and your story and your brand, not showing up can really alter the vision that they're buying into, that you're sharing with them. That makes sense.
So it becomes a habit.
For sure. People really will sit down and be like, what's going on? I ain't seen you post in a day. Like they'll DM me that anytime I'm not like on there as much as I normally am. They'll ask, like, are you okay? What's going on? I'm like, I'm fine. But that's my advice, is to not do it for other people. Don't do it for the likes. Do it for you getting that I'd say that mission out, whatever you're really standing for. And know that there's someone, no matter how many, there's someone looking for you, like looking for that uplifting. And if you can touch one person, or for me, it was like the sponsors that I found online, they saved my life. By just being positive, being themselves. They didn't know I was watching, you know? So that's really, really important. And then whatever you do at 2,000, understand at right now 45K, for example, you get a chance to still be you in every single part of it. Yes, evolve, but put their blinders on. Don't look left to right so much and try to be like everybody else, because they can just follow them. What's awesome is there's so many more to go around. That's the last thing I'll say. You know, Lori Harvey or Taylor Swift, they have millions of followers, and they both have millions of followers. Meaning there's millions to go around. Right? So I'd say be true to yourself, evolve over time, and just lean into what you're doing, and don't look left and right as much. Does that make sense?
So to build up on that, how does one select a niche? Like, how did you choose your brand? Right? That's basically a username, Kennedy the brand. So how did you pick your brand? How did you pick your niche?
That's funny. That name is kind of new. I did it top of the year. But all the years prior to, I was A Little Kennedy, which is my middle name. So I just kind of went together. But it finds you inside of being who you really are. figure out what feels good to post. Like I love fashion. I love interior design. It's not on my page because it feels better to do it without camera on me. It feels good to do it without, you know, making a whole reel out of it. It just feels good to cook. I love to cook, right? And I might have a reel about food, maybe one every 10 or 20. Like I don't make it often because it feels good to do it in private. And so when you start making content, you'll figure out what feels good to make for others and what's good to like do on your own, doing your own private room. And so that's how I kind of like fell into what I'm doing. And then my advice still goes to like your plan when you first started. What are people asking you for? That also feels good to make. So I have people asking me right now to make certain content that doesn't feel good to me to make. So I probably won't make it. Right? So remember that it's your lifestyle. You get to do this for as long as you choose. I'm going to be doing it forever.
And that's the best part of this is you get to choose what you want to do and
win.
Flexibility that you wanted, that you always wanted. So.
I'll be pivoting my page coming here soon to get more into like lifting. That's going to be crazy. But as I do that, you know, I get to kind of like all the other stuff gets to drop away. You know, and previously I was not. I'm in a relationship now, but I wasn't in a relationship the past 4 years. So I get to sprinkle that in now, and so you get to find who likes that and where those people coming from. And if you want to keep doing it or not, some things are best kept private. It just depends on, you know, what it feels like when you press share.
Sweet, I like that. So that's actually good that you brought up your fitness thing. I know you want to compete very soon. You're in a bodybuilding shows more specifically. Tell us more about that. What inspired you to do that? Are you getting coached right now? Tell us the whole spleesh. Everything.
Oh man, I'm so excited. So sidebar, Arnold just came out. Have you seen it on Netflix? Arnold Schwarzenegger, bro, I'm so locked in. I think I watched it twice now. Like, it's just inspiring to me to watch like the whole story. But things like that would be like their fuel along the way, I'd say. And so that's number one. Craft your page to really support with your dreams. Like now I'm following more people who do that, and so it's more inspiring for me to get in that kind of shape. It's not like I'm cute now. You know what I'm saying? It's not cute shape. It is competitive shape. It's a whole different conversation. So what inspired me to really go for it was I'm in health and wellness. It's a lot of coaches that coach, you know, and what's awesome is based on your results, people look at you and say, you can lead me. They submit and they give you that permission to tell them what to do, right? And what I found is that's been successful up until now. And what I get to do is get next level results to attract the next level clientele.
Smart. So that's why you want to compete.
One of the main reasons, correct, is that like right now I feel like I got great business results, right? Great social media results, but are they leveling out, and is it a new average for me? Someone may look at it and be like, oh, that's excellent, but for me, has it become my new average? And what I don't want to do is be average, right? And so how can I be excellent? That's one of the things that goes inside of it, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I'm excellent in my physique, I'm excellent in my mindset, I'm excellent in my business. That means I do follow-up great, I'm a great, you know, business person. That comes along with the discipline that's also inside of fitness and nutrition and everything else, right? So I know that it'll be a positive impact along the way in my whole business. Currently, we have a part of my organization that competes, right? Stephen Crawford, shout out to Stephen Crawford, is our presidency member. He has done bodybuilding competitions for a long time now and starts to develop leaders that want to do that. And so I will be training with Stephen Crawford and the team there. They're based in LA, but he does virtual training as well. But I will be flying out there too.
What federation are you in?
Say again?
What federation will you be competing in?
I have no idea. He has to tell me. He actually sent me. Yeah, he's gonna pick everything for me because it's my first one. Yes. And so I'll be starting with all like the rigorous training and everything in late August, early September. Yeah. The show is in November.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because then you get August, September up, 3 months of prep.
Oh my gosh. What I'm looking forward to most is being in. I've been the big fish in the little pond for a long time. And I'm excited for that to change, to be a big fish with a lot of big fish in a big pond, and just be like, all right, so what is the next mountain I get to climb? Because we know at the bottom of one is the top of another, and so forth and so on. I want to go to the next level of my life in all my areas. I don't want to be an average girlfriend. I don't want to be an average business owner. And I think that pushing myself in this way is really going to push myself in all the other areas as well.
Yeah, and that whole experience, I know, is going to be crazy because you're going to be... It'll be fun. I don't want to.
I don't know.
You're gonna start prepping you up. You're gonna start lifting so much more. You're gonna get so much bigger, and then you'll be on when you have to cut down your weight.
I have no idea.
Be treacherous.
I'm just excited because I feel like, you know, as a collegiate athlete, there was always somebody I was going against, right? I knew that, like, who's the next. Inside of this, like, wellness, well for you is different from well for me.
Yeah, true.
And so there's not really like the standard. There's kind of like healthy, can you run these miles? Can you you can come up with standards all the time, but there's nothing like another competition or a competitive person to help me know the benchmarks I'm reaching. That's the difference inside of entrepreneurship too. You got to set your own benchmarks. Nobody's telling you that you did a great job. It's not a rubric or a syllabus. It's not like that anymore. You're now your own boss. So I have to tell myself, like, here's where you're measuring up, you know, and here's why if your price goes up, here's why it makes sense, right? And so I'm evolving overall. I think this is the next thing that's going to be like difficult. I haven't tried yet, and that's where I get to really submit to the process and grow inside of that.
Well, then that takes you to my next question. Is so what advice would you give people that want to get onto that entrepreneurship path? And give me like 3 tips you would give to somebody, or what are 3 tips that make up a good entrepreneur? Man,
that's a great question. I'd say...
Or 3 qualities that make up a good entrepreneur.
Discipline.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because nobody is coming to save you.
I like that.
Nobody is coming to tell you to get out the bed and make the content and go to the gym. Nobody is coming, okay? Discipline. You got to do it for yourself. Oh, that's such a big one. Another one I would say is like courage.
Okay.
I wouldn't say fearlessness because you get to do it with fear anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you have fear, you still get to do it, but you got to have the courage. Courage to ask, courage to speak, courage to put yourself out there. Because no matter what you're selling, you get to have a network to do so. Right? The money that you want is in somebody else's pocket. And so if you don't have a network with them or building relationships and communication skills, then you know it won't be there. And then lastly, I'll say vision. As an entrepreneur, once again, like there's no you don't have a conference where they tell you what the vision is for the company. It doesn't work that way. You have to wake up every day and be like, remind yourself, why did I start this? What is my vision? And what's my path of getting there right now? Inside of that, you'll start to ask your questions like, who's going to help me get there? Who do I know that can help me get there? What are my resources? But if there is no vision, there's no one that can buy into. People can't buy into your yesterday.
I like that.
They can't buy into your yesterday. They can't buy into your right now. They can only invest in their future.
Wow, that's nice. I like it.
And what's awesome is we are the real capital. And so if a person says, hey, I believe in that mission with you, you made it so clear I can see myself vividly in that with you. I want to fight with you for this. I want to work alongside you. I want to be a part of your team. It's because we did a good job telling them what we're about. Right? And so get really clear on your mission and your vision for yourself. Be consistent. Consistency,
courage, and vision. So that's actually kind of perfect because now I want to ask you, what's your vision for your company right now? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh man, great question. So the top 1% of our company is president's team. That means you basically became 1% by attracting 99. That kind of looks like about roughly 1,000 people that have said yes to the vision, yes to the mission. So I see myself a president's team within the next 5 years. And what's awesome about that, there's only 10 black women.
Oh wow.
All of North America at top 1%.
There you go.
So that just shows me there's so much room for us to grow. There's so much room for diversity. And what's awesome inside of that is that's just me building up people as well. So that number gets to not just open with 11, but have 13, 14, 50 directly after, right? Really following in those footsteps, because I feel like, you know, as a culture, we get to dominate in so many different spaces if we open those doors for one another. So that's my mission, is to be a presidency member in the next 5 years, of course, by helping people that look like me start their own businesses in their own communities and not just physically look like me. I mean, they have very similar stories. Maybe they're a part of the queer community. Maybe they are, you know, the underdog or whatever their story might be. My motto in life is never underestimate the power of one story.
I like that.
Because everybody gets to be heard in their own way, and you never know who you connect with in that process. So that's what I want to do, and I'm excited because right now, I mean, like I have like 100 distributors currently. Cool. I get to do that times 10. And I know what that's been feeling like for the past 3 years. It just feels good to know that this person was able to buy their father a Father's Day gift because they've been in the business. Or this person is now, you know, depression and suicidal free. Or they've lost a whole bunch of weight. Regardless, they've changed in their life in a way that they never thought they could before. And I got to be a part of that. So biggest vision of it all is that we live on through the memory of others. right? And that I get to live on as a positive person in people's lives. So
I love it. I love it. So I want to backtrack and go back to where we talked about your team, and how does one make a good team? Like, what makes a good team? How do you attract the right people that you can call a team? Because when you're working at that high of a level, the amount of trust, the amount of faith, the amount of courage you need to believe in somebody else with and all that faith that's needed, it's hard. It's hard because especially in the time we're in right now. So how do you pick people, or how does that whole process work for you? Because I know you have a good established team. Like, she was amazing to let us film over here today. Cassia was amazing to come on, and we talked about that. So tell me about that team.
Okay. So in building a team, I think that, the first thing I consider and I remind people of is your team is going to be reflections of you. And whatever you're not honest about or you haven't decided to work through, it shows up in who's attracted to you. The things inside of us attract people around us. Like, you guys are connected for a reason, right? We're connected for a reason. And so if there's a character trait that keeps showing up inside of people that I attract, I get to work on that for myself. So that's number one, is like leading by example. And just being honest about the areas that are underdeveloped that I get to develop inside of to then attract the next caliber person, right? And the next thing I'll say is around 80-20 rule, right? So we talked a little bit about the 80-20 rule. John C. Maxwell talks about how 20% of your team is going to do 80% of the work. And so you get to really figure out who those people are, not by words, but by action. I personally give the opportunity to everyone that will listen. I'm not so... I can't tell you what you'll be. The person you're sitting in front of right now, I wasn't always this way. Right? And I have plenty of friends who started the business. They used to be strippers. You know what I'm saying? They used to have different colorful backgrounds. They used to have all type of charges on them, but they changed a lot. They worked on themselves so much that now they led a team of over 800 people. Like, their teams are huge because they had to change who they show up as every day in order to attract the next kind of person. And so I say that to say the door is always open. I offer the opportunity to anyone who is interested in it, and then I allow them to show up in actions the way that they can for the next level of themselves. They say that the teacher will appear when the student is ready. And so if they're calling me saying, hey, I've already done my personal development, I've already had my shake and my tea, I've already worked out today, here are the tasks I got done, what else can I do? I'm hungry for it, I want to know what's next, right? That kind of person I can lead, I can coach, right? That's a team. You may have followers, but the team are going to be the people who actually show up and do the work for themselves, who want to build their own vision, right? Who have their own discipline, consistency, and their own courageousness. Those three things I see inside of an entrepreneur will be like, all right, yes, I'll coach you, right? You can have people who purchase from you. That doesn't mean that you're coaching them. Doesn't mean that you are their mentor or their leader or even their person that's running a team. The biggest thing is the people who show up consistently are going to be the ones that get the most out of the experience. So I found that, at some point it's only like 5 people. At some point it's been 10 or 20. But inside of that, it doesn't matter. It's not about quantity as much as it is quality, because that one person can network with 1,000 more people, right? And so to me, I prioritize going deeper with the ones that want to go deep and do that work, and then for the rest of them, I just leave the door open for when they're ready to go to that, because you never know when a person's gonna decide to choose themselves. So I'm here for that whenever it might be.
Sweet, that's amazing. Well, on a closing statement, my last question is going to be, what's some advice that you would give yourself 10 years ago if you were to meet you 10 years back, and what's one thing you would tell yourself if your 10-year future self if you met her right now?
First of all, you cute. No, I'm kidding. But man, I'm 28, so 10 years ago I'd have been 18. I think I would have been like in college. I would tell her that everything that's gonna happen has to happen.
I like that.
I really would just want her to lean into it. So much of my life I spent fighting the inevitable. And I wasted so much energy asking God, like, why me? Why God? Why now? Right? And instead of saying, thank you, God, I must be made for this. You must want me to really grow inside of my trust. For all these people to keep betraying me, you must really want me to grow, because I keep getting opportunities to do so. Right? And so that perspective would have been really valuable to me 10 years ago. And I use it every day now. Traffic, I'm like, thank you, God. Because right now I'm where I need to be, not where I want to be. I need to be here. I may want to be there. I'm just grateful that I'm here instead of there, because you never know why God is holding you back from something or opening the door for something to happen. Whatever it is, God allowed it. So that's my number one. I would tell her, girl, it has to happen. Just lean in. Lean into it. Enjoy the ride.
I love that.
And then 10 years from now, okay, I had this baby picture of me, and I looked at it a couple years back, and I just started crying. Because I was like, dang, man, like, you really had this vision for yourself, and you wrote all these dreams down. You wanted to be a star by now, all these different things. And are you making her proud? Like, am I making my inner child proud right now? In my now, right?
Yeah.
And so what I want to tell my 38-year-old self is that you are. You made us proud. And thank you for still going. And thank you for still showing up, because all of us live inside of you. Like your 28-year-old self, you're 15, you're 10, and we all want the best. We don't know what it'll be, but I'm just really proud of you for continuing to go, and that you're making us proud right now. So stay in it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much.
That's such an emotional question for me, at least. But I'm glad you asked it, because I don't think about that enough. Like, what kind of conversations will I get to have?
Yeah. Because you're always like, I think me personally, I'm always concerned about what I'm going to do in the moment. And even though people say you should live in the moment, you know, and not worry about the future, but then you get so caught up in chasing something that you forget where you started from, or you forget what your end goal was, because you just went down a different path. And I think sitting by yourself and having that conversation, either with yourself or just with God, really grounds you and resets you to get back at it.
Yeah.
So.
Not before my never underestimate the power of one story. Before I lived by that, so like maybe 5 years ago, and then before that, it was do something today your future self will thank you for. I was very future focused, right? And what you mentioned happened to me. I climbed the Great Wall of China, and it took me 2 hours. I got up there and I was like, that's it? I'm looking around like, I mean, it's cool. It's dope. I'm sweaty, but like, that's it. And it's because I didn't have the practice. I didn't build the muscle to be present enough to appreciate right now. And so I'm just really grateful that like my paradigm has shifted to the story I'm in, and how we build it every day. And I give myself the grace to say, this is my first day ever having today. I never had today before. I never get it back. And so what can I do today that'll be memorable for me and those around me? How can I make a positive difference today, and allow those things to build up over time, so that I can say, I'm proud of you. 10 years from now, I can say I'm proud of you, and I'm proud that you lived inside of your life every day, and you didn't just operate on autopilot and let everything happen around you, you know? So that's good.
Well, with that being said, thank you so much. I will see you guys in episode 8. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All the links will be in the description. Please go support all of them. Daily Dose. I will put the address down in the description too. This was lovely. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming back for round 2. And do you have any closing statements? Anything you'd like to say to the world?
Yeah, to the world. Thank you. Believe now.
Oh wow.
Like, follow now. We're all going some places, so believe now in yourself, believe now in what you're doing, believe now in the vision you have, because that's what allows it to actually happen for all of us. So follow me at Kennedy the Brand for more of the same kind of energy, and of course follow the pages that you drop below. Thank you for having me, for seeing me, for allowing this conversation to happen. I'm so humbled to be a part of your story, and I'm so excited to watch where all of this goes.
I'm excited too. Thank you so much. That being said, what do we say?
Embrace the randomness.
Embrace the randomness, guys.